Hello Year 2, so I'm here today to talk you through our day for English Focus, which should be done on Thursday, but you can obviously do it any day that you can. So today we are going to be looking at diaries, and what I've written as a bit of an introduction is that Sunny has returned from the Kalahari Desert, or returned to the Kalahari Desert, and told all of his friends and family about his trip around Africa Unwanted, which we looked at last week. Now he wants to write a diary entry about one of his stops along the way. Now, we need to think back to our diary work we did when we did the Great Fire of London, and there are lots of things that we learned, and that's going to be really important for today's lesson. So I have a checklist here, and I've actually had a go at writing an example myself, okay? And I've used one of the postcards from the book to help me write it. What we're going to do is we're just going to, your first task is to have a look at each thing in the checklist and see if you can find it in my modelled example. Now, I'm not going to do everything, but I'll go through a couple with you first. So the first thing on the checklist is, can you spot the date and or time that the diary was written? And normally when you write the date or time, you would write it at the top, at the start. And here we can clearly see the 10th of June 2020 at 11 AM. So I can tick that off of my checklist there. The next one is, has it been written in the past tense? And obviously past tense is you write about things that have already happened. And normally you would use the suffix ed if it's needed, okay? So here we've got allowed. So we have got a word with ed there, okay? So we can tick that one off. The next one is, can I use the words with I, my, we and our? We actually say the first person because it's you that's written it. So can we spot any words with I, my, we or our? Oh, I can definitely spot one here. What a fascinating trip I had. On Monday, I went to visit my Uncle Bob in the sandy rocks on the edge of the gigantic Kalahari Desert. We had to keep out of the sun at midday. So you can see there's quite a few examples there. So if you spotted a few, you can tick it off. Okay? And I'll do one more with you, because remember I said I'm not going to do everything for you. And it says, write as if I were there. When we talk about that, it's actually adding in extra information so that when you read back, you think, oh yeah, I remember that. It was a really hot day. Or it was a really cold walk. And those words, I wonder if you can remember if it's describing an event or describing a noun. I wonder if you can remember what they are. They're adjectives. So I wonder if you can spot any adjectives. Oh, I can spot one here about the weather. The weather was incredibly hot. So we've got incredibly hot and dry. These are all words to tell us what it was like. It makes us want to read more and it will make us remember what our trip was like. So I can tick that off. When you've gone through your checklist, that's a bit of a warm-up, just get your little brains whizzing, you will then need to move on to the next little activity. Because the next activity is, I get my little clicker, is it's going to be your turn. And what I've done is I've taken the checklist again, but I've also put in a couple of little challenges over here for you to include in your own diary entry. So we've got here commas in a list, and when we're listing something, we've got a few commas. Apostrophe for possession, and we've definitely done that this week. Adjectives and noun phrases. I wonder if you can remember what a noun phrase is. So if I said this teddy bear, I would say he's got soft brown fur. Remember, it's two or more adjectives to describe a noun. And an exclamation mark. What an amazing day I had! Exclamation point. Okay? So, got your checklist, and what you'll need to do is choose a postcard to help give you an idea on one of the stops that he made on his way. So we've got here, at his cousin Edward's farm, and his cousin Scratch and Mitch's next to the termite mounds, and his great aunt Flo's in a marsh, and at his auntie Bee's in Madagascar. I put in the brackets, in the dark. I wonder what kind of words you could use to describe that. I'm going to just get you started today, but I'm not going to do the whole thing because I think this is going to be your job. But I'm going to have a go at selecting this postcard here at his cousin Edward's farm. Now remember, at the start of the checklist, we need to include the date or time that the diary was written. So over here, I'm actually going to include the date and time at the the 17th of June. My pen's running out. 2020. I'm going to put a comma, and I'm just going to look at the time. 12 o'clock. Okay, so when you've written that, you might want to, on your checklist, tick it off. I won't do that on here because I'll need to keep clicking between the two. The next one is write in the past tense, so we need to make sure we're doing that. So thinking about how we start our diary. Well, normally you start your diary by writing to your diary, dear diary. I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to start a new line. So I'm now going to say where I went. That's a good way to start the diary. Talk about actually what happened. So here, went to his cousin Edward's farm. So dear diary, now, when did he go to his farm? Now it doesn't actually tell me in this postcard here, it just said that he's staying on a farm, but I'm going to make up a day. So dear diary, on Tuesday, with a capital T, it's a proper noun, on Tuesday, I went to visit my cousin Edward. And I'm going to say where he was, so it was at his farm. On his. Now I'm going to think of an adjective here to describe what a farm is. I'm going to say, went to visit my cousin Edward on his noisy farm. I imagine farms are very noisy. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to turn this into a noun phrase. So noisy. Ooh, imagine they're a bit smelly. Noisy, smelly, farm. Full stop. I'm going to do one more sentence, and I'm going to say, I quite enjoyed my stay by the looks of it because he got to eat lots of food. So I'm going to say, put it into an exclamation sentence, what an amazing place it was. And then exclamation mark, because that was one of my challenge. Okay, I'm going to pause there. And I'd like for you to see if you can carry on either my own version of my diary or your own one by selecting a postcard. But do send through anything that you do because I would love to see some of your diary entries. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.